James Brewer with Envision Wealth Planning is here to join me today. Thanks for joining us. We're talking about year-end planning, the good, the bad, and the rosy, things that we have to do by the 31st. So welcome.
Well, thanks for having me today. Always great to be here. The first thing you really need to make sure is that you're thinking of the things that require your action, especially those for savings. So most of us are thinking about retirement. Maybe we've put it off. Some things actually have a strong deadline. Some we can put off to our tax filing. But I'm thinking about your 401k plan. So the opportunity to maximize that is basically the end of the year. For those over 50 as well, there's an additional $6,000 catch-up. So if you need to use that catch-up, make sure that you're doing that as well.
Well, the problem is with some of these deadlines is that if you blow through them, there are penalties. That's the bad.
So required minimum distributions, sometimes called RMDs, these are the things that some people really don't need the money. You're really blessed if that's the case, but you don't need the money, so you might not be thinking, I need to get the money out. Most people have complained in the past about this 10% withdrawal penalty. Hey Fritz, it's a 50% penalty when it comes 50.
Wait, of the total amount or the required minimum?
Of the required minimum.
Okay, well that's still pretty significant usually.
Well, if you got 20 grand, why would you pay a 10 grand penalty, right?
Of course.
So, I know some people that they're probably just going to make the deadline because of, not having prior planning. While you're actually putting in the form to get your money out, you may want to do one so the following year it's automated so you don't run into this problem. You also might want to look if you have over contributed to your health savings account. I was actually reviewing one of my clients' tax returns and discovered they got a penalty actually for over contributing to their health savings account. Why would you get a penalty when you were really trying to save? So the government does have some caps. They're serious about the caps. That's why there's a penalty that comes with those.
Finally, thinking about the rosy. So now we're talking about some of the great things that could happen and thinking ahead.
I always like to think ahead. Sometimes the end of the year it's stressful, especially if you had to go fix all these things. So what about the following year? And I thought of the word rise, I just thinking rising up. So retirement. Have you really stopped and thought about what you should be doing? And here it's just not simply saving, but actually finding out how much you should be saving. You could potentially use a calculator, or I prefer using a professional who actually has skill in making sure that any assumptions in that calculator are actually appropriate for you. Then I would be investments. Have you really looked at your investments in a while? What are you investing for? Is it for college? Is it for retirement? Is it for your emergency fund? They really need to have some looks because you may need to do some reallocating. You may need to really, just think of your overall plan. So that's the I. S, spending. Well, did you spend like you thought last year? Did some things happen and you find yourself overspending? Are those credit cards bulging? That's something we need to go and check as we look into the new year. And then finally, estate. To me, there's never a time when we shouldn't just think about, have things changed? Beneficiary designations, that's one of the key things.
Rising the new year, makes sense.
Yes.
James, thanks for joining us today.